expecting any other question to come in. If there are none, then we may likely summarize and call it a day. I also believe that we have had an impactful session today, and IXPN in collaboration with Flowsoft. We do have more important, very exciting topics in the coming quarters, you know, and we are also trying to dive into topics that affect your daily operations. So please, it's going to be a continuous capacity building exercise for our members and those outside the ecosystem. So, Nelson and Matthew, do you have any other thing to say before we call it a day? Let me also remind us, please, all the participants for today, please, for those that requested for the slide, I also want to believe that our expert for today I will work with them to deliver the slides. I base only those that okay. Raphael has something to. Okay, I think there is a question from Raphael. Matthews, Nelson, have you seen the question?
Yeah. No, I can't see it because I'm still sharing my screen.
Okay, is the Q&A. Let me read it out. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The question says from Raphael. Okay. In the light of the evolving threat landscape, what would you say is the most overlooked but yet critical security measure organizations should implement immediately, especially in resource constrained environments? That is one. I learned there are two questions here, but this one is talking about in a changing environment. What will you say are the most overlooked yet critical security measure companies should implement immediately, especially in a resource constrained environment? If you don't get that, you may need to look at the Q&A to go through it clearly.
Yeah, I thank you, Charles. I think both questions are the same. Am I mistaken? Yeah, but I think the person asking can let us know if that's a duplicate, because that really sounds the same. But it's fine. We can take the first one while. Yeah, were you saying something?
Okay, we can take this first one before the other one. The other one is in the chat. Why this first one is in the Q&A? The second one is talking about DDoS mitigation,
Okay.
But this first one, okay. So yeah, this first one. This one. Okay.
So I actually think that the most overlooked thing is what I mentioned briefly, zero trust. That is overlooked by so many ISPs, right? And because most ISPs, let's say in their most network operators, it's very convenient to just create an account and give yourself all privileges, right? Because you don't want to like start, to give the least privilege to yourself. And also when you create new users, think of it like again, it goes all the way from VMs, from VM users to NMS users, like any user at all, right? The least privilege is the most overlooked, but yet very simple security measure that should be taken. And then this is a question that we should always ask ourselves. Yes, it's convenient to overlook and forget, but if you're always security conscious, whenever you're creating an access, right, you want to ask, what is the least privilege that this particular user needs to perform their job? And then you only assign that and only that to that user. Not saying, okay, I'm going to give you everything, then I will start removing them when they don't need it. You start by, okay, I'm giving you just one thing you need, then we're going to keep adding on while we're blocking the others, right? So why is this critical? Because of what we call lateral movement, right? Like I mentioned in the talk, where you have a particular VM, right, that is public facing, is connecting to your cloud service provider, but that VM also has open access to all of your like local network, OLTs, routers, and everything. That should not be the case, right? That little effort alone can minimize so many damages, and also it is very cost effective to implement. Like, it doesn't take you anything, which goes back to your question, right? Low resource environment, but critical. So that's, I think, the most important thing that is being overlooked.
All right. Okay, that's great. That's great. Um, it's gonna be kind of end-to-end checks during the period of checking. So let's quickly go to the next one from Emmanuel. I think he said, I didn't understand how DDoS mitigation is applied on the edge router link that connects to the internet through an ISP. How can we enable anti-DDoS protection on this link? It's like two-in-one question. You need to understand how DDoS mitigation is applied on the edge router link that connects to the internet through an ISP. And how can we enable anti-DDoS protection on this link? You get that, Nelson?
Yeah, sure. Matthias, do you want to take that, or I can?
Oh, you can talk and I can complement.
Okay, yeah, sure. So the first question: how do you mitigate DDoS attack on a particular edge router or a link, right?
Yes.
So going back to this slide, mentioned the first thing is monitoring, right? You need to be able to monitor live traffic from that link or that port or interface, right? And you do that by what the tools recommend, right? The DDMS, either OneGuard or the FastNetMon. So FastNetMon is an open source tool that, think of it like a sidecar in the context of networking. A sidecar is just on the side monitoring your network. So you connect it to your network, and live traffic is streamed to it. And in it has its own anomaly detection model, and it can detect the attempt of an attack. When a DDoS attack starts, it can detect it early on, and that is the first thing. And also, in the course of configuring this FastNetMon or OneGuard to your BGP, you have to peer both of them, right? Your router, let's say MikroTik, has to have a BGP peer with the FastNetMon, so that whenever FastNetMon detects, let's say, an attack, it can then announce that you can then announce to your BGP what you should do, right? And then you also combine that with creating what we call the black hole, right? Or the null route, right? Saying that okay, so it's basically an instruction saying telling your router, whenever I receive a BGP packet with this community tag, that means that I should just block this particular IP, right, and put it basically add it to the black hole, right, the null route. So with those communication, that's how they are both linked together, and that's how you are able to quickly detect and prevent some of the DDoS attack. Just like Matthew said, you can only prevent the ones that have gone through into your edge router, right? But there are cases where the bandwidth coming to you is so huge, then that's where you need to employ using your external scrubbing center, right, to absorb the traffic for you. So that is the first part. Sorry, Charles, what was the second question?
Okay, the second one quickly is about how can we enable anti-DDoS protection on this link? How
Okay,
can we enable anti-DDoS protection on this link?
It's a service of.
Yeah, go on, Matthias.
Okay, thank you. It's a service offered by your ISP, by your uplink. Your uplink need to offer to you. And if he doesn't offer to you, you can contract the mitigation links by remote. What does mean? We have an example, Cloudflare. Cloudflare have a scrubbing center that make the DOS mitigation. So you don't need exactly to have a connection directly to him. You you will configure like an VPN GRE, and with this VPN, you will say you need to announce him your block. Like first thing, when your uplink doesn't offer the mitigation link to you, you will contract the remote link. So you will close a VPN. But you need another thing. You need a feature to monitor the link. And this feature will be responsible to see when you're receiving an attack. And when you receiving an attack, an example, the fastnet mount will see it, will see the behavior of the network. So when you're receiving a massive traffic like 100 gigabyte for 40 gigabyte plus what you received, the fastnet mount will do automated configurations. He will see, oh, I'm receiving gigabytes of attack. Let me do the automated configuration. So he will send to the edge router the command to announce to Cloudflare. So all your traffic will be announced to Cloudflare, and the /24 will be announced to him, and all traffic that will come to you will first pass through in Cloudflare. So he have already the equipments to make the scrubbing, to make the cleaning of traffic. So he will send to the internet your blocks, will attract all your traffic. He will clean your traffic and will send back to you. So when you don't have a mitigation link with your upstream, you can buy it by another remote link. And just you need a feature to make the detection of attack internally, and you need a VPN to close communication. And when you have receive attack, the traffic comes from him, right?
All right. All right. Thank you, Matthias. And please, we may need to be very swift on these answers because we have a lot of questions rolling in now. A lot of them, and we need to be very, very fast in giving the answers so that we can solve them quickly. Now, there is this one that says, what is the best or recommended way to do vulnerability test on servers or end hosts in a network? What is the
The
best or recommended way? All right.
right.
Just answer
The
them quickly so that we can move to a lot of them still waiting for answers.
Okay, thank you. The best thing to do it's configure a firewall with IDS and IPS and so many best practices to we don't have issues with malware and ransomware or someone else bads. So um, when you have a traffic malicious inside your network, we can configure, we can buy, we can contract firewalls that make inspection, IDS, intrusion detection, and IPS. It's a feature of security that make inspection of your network that will look every packets, all packets, and search for malicious packets and sites, emails, and so on. We have next generation firewalls that have this features. So what we can do, contract a firewall NGFW and configure it good. So doing this, we have anti malware, and we have a plan to when we have a malware in the equipment, we will know because the firewall will say to us.
All right. Okay. I'm sure you've answered two in one. Yes. And I think there is this other one here. Um, is there a way? Is there a way to manage data loss or breach?
Okay, or data
I,
loss.
yes, I hope you have seen it right from Damola Michael. Are there
Yeah.
ways to manage data loss through breach after the event of an attack? That is one. Then two, how do we ensure user data will not be compromised in a way that affect them and the organization? So it's
Okay.
two in one.
Okay. Nice. The attack have no goal to stolen data. The DDoS attack have the goal of disruption the network, of make unavailable the servers, to have unavailable the navigation of clients, to make sure that we can't that we have a plan over lost data. It's best practice only. We need a backup, we need more servers doing the same thing by active backup. So by default, the DDoS attack, it's not the goal to stolen data, it's to make unavailable some servers. um, and how do we ensure user data will not compromise it in the way affect the organization? Okay, so when we have the best practices, making backup of servers, making backup of data. We have a plan, like we have a DMZ, we have the zero trust for management plan. We have topologies that make security. We have equipments that make security. We have features of firewalls that we need to configure to make sure that if we have problem with data loss or malware or something like attacks, we have a protection. I
Oh,
hope help with this
yeah.
answer.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. I think this should be the last one. If I'm right. Prevention is better than cure. How often is it advisable? How often is it advisable to test existing prevention measures employed? So, how often do you test your prevention measures that you have employed? How often do you test them? Can we look at that?
Yeah, let me. Uh,
It's from
Prevention is, yeah, the Abdul Leo Bello answered.
Bello. Yeah,
Prevention
yeah.
is better than cure. How often is advised to test existing prevention measures employed? Let me. And Nelson, do you want ask to answer this?
Yeah, sure. I can take that. So I really think here it depends. I'm going to break down. I'm going to list a couple of reasons or when you should retest your protection measures. One, if there's a patch, right? If there's a patch on one of your network, then after an update, you need to rerun all of your secure prevention measures to make sure that they are working on the patch or on the update, right? And the next thing is also when you have reached a significant increase in throughput, right? What does that mean? Let's give, for example, your Redis server, right? You have configured it to be able to handle, let's say, 20,000 connections, right? So if you reach a significant increase of, let's say, 30,000 connections, you should also run your prevention mechanism again on that Redis server. For example, you can run your load testing on it again using tools like the RADPEF, right? And see, can it handle the next stage we are getting into? Can it handle 40,000, right? So those are ways you can basically, those are when you can know when to retest. But again, it should be as frequent as possible, right? And also not try to make it like not too much noise, right? So those understanding the key critical changes in your network and running those tests again is what I would say is how frequent you should test them.
All right.
All right.
So
Thank you.
complementing, we have the setup of the DMS, and the goal of setup of the DMS is feed um, a system tools that will monitor your link. So when something occurs, you will know. Will appear logs, will appear something like spams like to you. What does the principle of the monitor tools? You need to know what occurring in your network, even packet loss, even attacks, even misconfigurations, something like this. So the log tools, like CM, that it's a centralized system of logs, you will see what is occurring. When you see that the peering BGP with your upstream it's falling, you need to make tests. If you see that your equipment it's degraded, and we will be you will make a upgrade of firmware, you need to make tests. So Every change that we will have in the network, it's advised that you test again all changes.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we have exhausted most of the questions, if not all. Please bear with me if we did not attempt any of this one, but I believe we have had so much impact today. Thank you, Ms. Nelson and Matthews, for your time and your sharing this great knowledge to this enormous, our participants and members today. We appreciate these impacts. So, please, it's time for us to round up and call it a day. Once again, this is powered by IXPN in conjunction with Flowsoft. Like we all know, IXPN is the platform where all networks converge to share content and traffic. Once you have your ASN, the autonomous system number, you are free to join us. In our platform, we have the likes of Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, TikTok, CBN, and all MNOs in Nigeria, including more than 80% or 90% of the ISPs in Nigeria. So you're free to join us. You get across through our info at isp.net.ng. Let us hear and share with you. Let's discuss, and you will be glad you did. So in the absence of every other thing, thank you, participants, for your time. We're sure to add more values in our subsequent. Please do not forget to fill out the survey and evaluation form, and let's hear from you. Let's get to do this better in our subsequent webinar. So, Nelson, I might use any other goodbye statements so that we can call it a day.
Yeah, so I think I would just like to quickly tell the audience what Flowsoft does and how it can add value to their operations as well, and then our final words. So Flowsoft basically gives ISPs and AI-powered operations, and it solves three main challenges for ISPs: inefficient and costly operations, customer churn and unhappy customers, right? And we do this by having an all-in-one ERP. Think of all of your solutions: billing, GIS, networking, CT, and even your customer support in one platform, and gives you, speaking of centralized logging, Flowsoft gives you all of that in one, from all different sectors, and then also gives you your live bandwidth monitoring, and basically gives you also a managed Redis server. It also gives you a managed ACS where you can push configurations to your thousands of residential gateways from the portal. You also get to have visibility on your signal stats. It also gives you bit error rate calculations for your links. Flowsoft also gives you provisioning in 2 clicks, right? With just 2 clicks, you can bring up your router. And also, Flowsoft also offers an advanced GIS where you can track your ONTs and end user gateways in one view, knowing when they are down, knowing when there is a fiber cut, knowing when the devices are down because of a power outage. It gives you all of that real time, and also gives you a billing portal with an AI integrated in it as an end-to-end customer support. So Flowsoft is happy to bring this webinar to you with IXPN. And our last word is going to be that security is not a product, right? It is it's a journey, right? And it's also a mindset. And the thing is, security is not built in one day, but it can be broken with just one click. So let us endeavor to be mindful of the security measures and practices that we put in place in our network and make the internet a bit more secure. And thanks everyone for coming. And thank you, Charles, too. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's secure the internet. Let's secure our ecosystem. I think that's all from Matthews too. All right. I think that's all right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So good to have you guys. Please fill out the survey form. Let's get to know them. For those of you who requested for the slide, we will get back to you definitely. And thank you for your time. And I'm very sure you have a very, very, very exciting moment with us today. I want to use the opportunity to say, do have a fantastic day ahead and enjoy every moment of this day. Thank you and God bless. Bye bye
See
for
you in
now.
series 2.
All right.
Amen.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.